Speakers call and write me saying, Craig, how do I add humor to my speech? And my answer is always the same. I say you don't. You never add humor to a speech. You uncover humor within it. And there's a huge difference. See, when you add humor, you normally have to reach for it because it's inorganic. However, when you uncover humor, it's true to your story. And you don't have to reach for it. It's what I call detour-free humor. So, where can you find the humor? It's in your story. It's more specifically in your characters. And more specifically, it's in your characters' dialogue with each other. Now, we talked about dialogue in another of the speaking tips, but this time it's all about humor. For example, listen to this quick 2-minute section of a live speech of mine. I've edited out a few parts to speed it up for you.
He said, because Craig, we've been thinking about it and we're going to raise your salary up to this. Now, salary means the same thing in California, right? Yeah. So I said, John, this is not a financial decision. This is about my dream. In fact, I call this a dream decision. He said, okay, I understand. I really do. I said, do. Hey, but how about if we raise your salary up to this? Yeah, I said, this is not a financial decision. It's a dream. Do you know he raised it 4 times? I kid you not. He kept saying, well, raise your salary to this. I said, this is not a financial decision. This is a dream decision. He said, okay, Craig, how about if we raise your salary to well above 6 figures? I said, dreams are overrated. Come on now, 6 figures? That was a lot of money back then. That's good money today. Fill up my gas tank for a week on that kind of salary. Maybe. So I said, John, look, before I say yes, I really have to talk to my wife about this, right? So, I mean, don't we all? So I went home, I said to my wife, honey, I don't know what to do. What should I do? What should I do? And my wife looked up at me with her big brown eyes and said, take the money, fool! Some of you already like my wife, don't you? But if you had been sitting beside my wife and me just a few minutes later on our black leather sofa with the chocolate chip cookies baking in the background, you would have heard her say something that can absolutely change your life. I know it changed mine. She said, Craig, this is all you've ever wanted. Ever since we met, this is all you've ever talked about. I don't care how much they try to compensate you. Craig, your dream is not for sale. Nice. That's deep, isn't it? Anybody in here sell out? Huh? Your dream is not for sale. Because here's the thing. Most people think the number one thing that gets in between them and their dreams is some kind of bad obstacle. A lack of money, a lack of time, a lack of talent. That's not it. The number one thing that gets in between your best dream is something good that we settle for. Good job, good marriage, good this. So let me ask you something. Are you too good to be great? Are you too comfortable in your good life to stretch out and reach greatness? Because sometimes the enemy of the best is the good. I looked at my wife, I said, see, girl, that's why I married you. My dream is not for sale, right? That's what you said. So I went back in there the next day. I looked at Vice President in his eyes, and I was firm. I looked him directly in his face, and I was bold. And I said to him, my wife said my dream is not for sale.
Welcome back. I had several laughs in that story, right? Well, what did they all have in common? They were all lines of dialogue. Let's review. I said, dreams are overrated. That's dialogue, right? Funny line. Take the money, fool. That's dialogue, right? Funny line. I went back in there the next day. I looked at Vice President directly in his eyes, and I said to him, my wife said my dream is not for sale. My wife said my dream is not for sale. That's dialogue. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. That's where you're going to find the humor. So make no mistake about it. If you're looking for humor in your speech, look no further because you found it. It's in the land of dialogue. See you next week. Until then, keep speaking up. Speaking up.